this woman had a boat, a small boat. And she was surprised. But in Venice, to have a small boat is like here having a small car. Because, you move through waters. So, also, you have buses on the water. So you have these larger boats, and they're extremely cheap like a bus. And you take them to go places. So it is a completely different ideas because everything is on water. And when you are a tourist, you can be very excited about Venice, but there is a problem that Venice requires to be clean in order to be beautiful. And depending on the government they have, the local government, which changes constantly, I don't know why, but they always have problems. Some governments really invest money in cleaning the city and to keep the water clean, which is not easy. It requires a lot of money. Other governments don't do that. So, for example, in my case, I go to Venice maybe once every 2 years, and every time it's a different experience. Because sometimes the city is completely clean and you fall in love with the city. Other times the smell is impossible. So, if you ask people who went to Venice, I can assure you, they can tell, oh, it's wonderful, the best place I've ever seen. And others, such disappointment. I didn't like Venice. And then you can ask them, how was the smell? Because, if the smell is awful, then your experience is damaged. Because you're not enjoying anything, and also dirt. It's ugly. So, it is a very expensive city to maintain. And I'm reading the news, every day I read the Italian news, and I think that right now the government established a tax if you're not a resident. So when you arrive by train, if you're not a resident, you need to pay something. And of course people are complaining, but I think that that money is going to be used to make the city. And then it's better for everybody. Okay. Also, when it rains a lot, the level of water increases. That Venice is going to be one of the first cities to disappear because of global warming. If you believe in global warming, but we don't have any Americans, so I think that everybody believes in global warming. And because we see Venice disappearing already, it is enough for the rain to be very heavy, and then the level increased. So much so that, do you know the Capri pens? When you have pens, like here we call them high water in Venice. Because you have literally to do that sometimes in Venice. So, if you visit the city on the wrong day, the experience could be very ugly. Or you could fall in love. One of the two. There is no middle way. Yeah. The weather is crazy now. So you can go in February and find a wonderful day, and go in June, which is supposed to be beautiful, and the weather is terrible. So now the craziness is everywhere in the world. So I don't take that responsibility to say when to go. It's also a problem for me, because when I go. But I know the conditions, so I have friends. I always fly into Venice, and from Venice. I love the airport, because it's small, but very well organized, only for tourists actually. So I really like to fly to Venice. And then if the weather is nice, if the conditions are good, I go to the city, to the town, because it's a small town. It's not big. And if the conditions are not good, I skip the trip. But I can do it because I went there many times. Yeah. It is very good to go to Venice by train, because the train takes you to the core of the town, and then you can go walking and visiting the different places. It it is a special place. It is the only place on earth built that way. And you know that it has a Chinese influence because we had Marco Polo, and he traveled to China when nobody was doing it in Europe, and he brought many things back from China. So there is a connection there. And also, I hope one day to go back to my old university because they are studying Chinese now in a very good way. But I want to go back there when I know Chinese. Not now. Absolutely not now. More questions? I'm excited with your questions. No, they're really good ones.
Do you know the Pagani, which is covered? Do you know the Pagani? Pagani. This is supercar.
Supercar.
Yeah, yes. This is covered.
Can you show me a picture? What do you mean? Because when you say well, write it down. No, so your pronunciation was good, but Pagani? No. No. Is he a driver? Because this is a last name of somebody.
Covered.
Okay. So it has to do with the engine of a car. Can you show me? Can you Google that and show me, and then I can tell you if I know nothing about it. Because okay, do you know the special cars we have in Italy, like the envy of the world? So we have Ferrari, Lamborghini. Yes. Yeah, so it is Ferrari, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I went to the factory there. But I need to check what... it's interesting because the question is so specific. And, you know, 3 years ago, I took a group of Americans to Italy. And that's the reason why I did a lot of tourist stuff that you don't need to do when it is your own country. And I went to the factories of those incredible cars. And I'm not into cars, but it was fascinating. It was very, very interesting. But now you are okay. Okay, my goodness. Can you imagine? I was there. It is close to Modena. So it is very close to the Ferrari factory, but it is a smaller factory, so very exclusive. You are really into cars. Really. Because I can tell you 99% of Italians don't know that. And I even forgot the name. So he's talking about, are you a millionaire? A billionaire? So you have a rich students here. Problem. Because, yeah, I'm very sorry that I cannot add anything. You know more about this than I do, you know. But it gives us the opportunity to see that they are so specialized in making cars that they also make exclusive cars. So this is their website. And can you imagine, I was there just because it was close to the Ferrari factory, and these American friends wanted to see the place, but it was closed. And I forgot the name because I didn't go inside. So Orazio Pagani was the one who started this activity, and I think you need to pay for the car before they make it. Am I correct? think that should be more or less the... Who is into cars here? Because when I said Ferrari, I didn't see any reaction. So I think you are the only one. But, yeah. Interesting. So, sorry that I'm not very helpful. Okay, but do you know Italian cars? So Ferrari, Lamborghini? You need to have a lot of money. You know what I mean? And those are also very uncomfortable cars. when you enter into Ferrari, it is not very practical. But if you want, and it is stupid in Italy because you have speed limitation everywhere. In Germany, you do not. On the highway in Germany, you can be crazy. But in Italy, limitation. So you buy something that you cannot use. So I don't understand. It's more to show off that you have the money. But thank you. You're teaching me something about Italy. How did you learn about Pagani?
Because I like Suda, so honestly, I know something with Suda. Yes.
Wow, so I came here to learn. Because afterward I will read more about it. Any other question? Do you want to teach me something?
Do you feel culture shock in Taiwan? It seems that you really like Taiwan.
Culture shock is a strong word, but yes. I think, yeah, I felt it a little bit. I'm getting used. I don't know if you noticed the pictures of Italy. With the exceptions of those cities controlled by mafia, where you have trash, rubbish everywhere, you know, because they are supposed to collect it, but they didn't get paid. So there are places in Italy that are really ugly because of the conditions of criminality and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, Italians are really into nice things. So design, because we want a house that is beautiful. So for me, it was shocking, and I have to say, Zhongli is more shocking than other places, because then I went to the south or to Taipei just to see some things, and things are a little bit better organized. But here, when I walk, and everything, every store, every shop has anything in the middle, and also old stuff, very ugly things. And you are wondering, why don't they throw that away? They're not using that. So, I didn't like that. I spent many years in the Dominican Republic, so I'm very familiar with poverty. And Taiwan is not as poor as it looks like. Because when you look at a shop and you see all these ugly, dirty things, the perception is, oh, they are poor. But I saw my landlord, the owner of the building where I live, and he has a laundromat in the same building. And if you look at him, I feel that I need to give him some money. And he has a building, he owns a building. So he's extremely rich. And his daughter told me, oh yes, we went to Italy 3 times. And so this is shocking for me. Because in the Dominican Republic, it was also messy, dirty, but they didn't have any money. So for me, it is strange when you are rich, but you don't care if something looks old or dirty. So I think that was very, very shocking for me. And the education system. And I'm surprised with you guys because you are asking questions. At my department, there is this joke every time a lecturer finishes, any questions? And you can see my hand. And it has become a joke. Because I'm the only one asking questions. So that was also shocking. And also another thing, mathematics. Because there is this myth that Taiwanese are great at math. I came here convinced of that, you know, because statistics say that you are among the 10 best countries in the world, but because you're very good at testing, not so good, average, and not so good at math. So that was really shocking. I had to laugh, because the other day I was with 3 Taiwanese friends, and we took an Uber, and it was 140. And then I said, okay, so 35 each. And they were like, oh, you didn't use a calculator. And they was like, I'm sorry. So that was very surprising because of your reputation, you know. And then when the reputation is so high, it is very easy to disappoint. So that was. You can tell me about time, you know. Okay. So we still need your questions. Should I go to that corner? Okay. Are you good? Are you good at math here? Because I know that you come from different departments. Are you very good at math? Anybody who loves math? Just to prove me wrong. I want to be proved wrong.
As you say, you are a foodie. So, what is your favorite food in Taiwan? And do you like to go to night market?
Yes, of course I like night market also because of the atmosphere. So yes, one of my problems is that I'm very into healthy food. I love healthy food, so it is not that healthy. So the night market, I love the atmosphere. But what I really love is the experience of hot pot with friends. And that was new for me. I knew about it, so I heard that in Asia there is this kind of thing, and in Taiwan especially. I have watched videos about it, but now that I have friends who make that, I really enjoy the experience. I love it. And I like when the food is simple and you can taste the ingredients, as I told you with pizza. And so I love fish here. Fish is 1,000 times better than in Italy. Because it's fresh, and I love sushi, so yeah. I'm actually addicted to sushi, I would say. And here I can afford it, because good sushi in Italy is extremely expensive if you don't want to get sick. And here I have been eating sushi a lot, and I'm still alive, so I think it's healthy. So I would say that, yeah, hot pot and sushi is not, that is not Taiwanese, but it is widely available in Taiwan.
You study architecture. I want to know, how did your college teach architecture? Because architecture in Italy are all I don't know how to say.
We do have a couple of buildings, right, in Italy. 2 or 3 buildings we do have it, yeah. 2 or 3 thousands every city. I wanted to show you pictures of the place where I grew up. I had that idea last night, and then I forgot. Because as you mentioned, Italy is a place with such an extraordinary architecture that you are surrounded all the time by architecture. So for example, where I grew up, the house I was living, so rented, not because my family was rich, but we rented a place that was built in 1876. The walls were this wide. So if you were in a room and somebody else was in the other room, no idea what they were talking about, but very dangerous in case of earthquakes. That's the reason why you can see how many people died in the last 20 years in Italy. Because those incredible houses, they are wonderful, but they resist too much. And so they resist, they are not flexible. They resist, and then when they fall, they kill people. And that I'm steering toward another topic, sorry. But so when I was little, I would leave my house and look at a church that was 600 years old, and then the door, the big door of the city, also 600-700 years old. So you are surrounded by this incredible architecture, and you are used to the beauty of it. So when you study architecture in Italy, the level of expectation of what you're going to know from start is very high. I was studying architecture. I didn't finish architecture because my mom got sick and she died of cancer when I was in university. And so I had to drop out when she got really, really sick. I had to work full time to support her. And so my experience is negative because I wasn't able to finish. And after that, I discovered that I was so into languages, and so I forgot about everything. But I wanted to become an interior designer. That was my goal. So, as you saw before, in Italy, you can choose your path when you study. So, I didn't study ancient architecture because I was not into that. But some classmates of mine did, and it was incredible because you can go and see extraordinary things. And we are quite ignorant, you know. We are spoiled as Italians because we have too much. It's like opera, and we know nothing about opera. Architecture, we're like, oh, it is beautiful. That's it. And we don't learn it now because we are spoiled. We are used to it, and it becomes normal. But your eyes are used to seeing beauty. And then, if you move to John Lee, you are looking for beauty, and you don't find it. And then you have the culture shock we were talking about. So, as I said, we are spoiled with food and with the beauty. We are used to seeing and to eating good things. So when we move to another country, normally we struggle. I didn't struggle here so much because I'm coming from Central America, but when I moved to Central America, at the beginning, just to give you an example, in Italy, you don't mix food. We are really into separating everything. So when you have a dish, you don't put another dish together. You eat every single item on its own. Okay, so you have the first course, you eat it. You don't put them. It's like a sin in Italy. But nobody tells you that. It's only that everybody does it. Now, for me, I can mix 4 things and I'm happy because at the end they go to the same place, and in the stomach they are together. But now I can do it. But it took me, when I moved to Germany, to study German. That was shocking because German people, they mix everything, and for me it was like So that was a cultural shock with a country nearby. So if you go to Italy, please eat your salad, eat the salad alone, eat your pasta alone. Don't mix things. If you watch an American movie, you will see spaghetti and meatballs. That does not exist in Italy. If you ask for it in Italy, it does not exist. And when I was in the United States talking about Italy with students, they were shocked when I told them, in Italy, spaghetti and meatballs together does not exist. And I'm like, that's Italian. No, it is not. I think we have time for maybe last question or, yeah? Who wants to ask the last question? So I'm going to ask the last question, and you are going to answer. Easier for me. And among all the places that you saw, is there something that surprised you? Something that was strange, or something that you want to visit now? So I can get money from the Italian government? Because I'm pushing tourism. Anything that you didn't know? Can you mention something, or something that was said here? Or something that you saw, and then you thought, oh, I didn't know that about Italy. You knew everything? So that is the difference, you know. If I did this in Italy, for example, about Taiwan, oh, yeah. But lots of hands saying stupid things. It doesn't mean that they are smart. It's just that everybody wants an intervention.
So, which place you want to go most in Italy? Which place?
Oh, you don't know? Sicily.
Have you been to Sicily?
Yes, and this is a very good choice. As I told you, Sicily has very dangerous places, very specific places, but if you have friends there, they tell you where to go and where not to go. Sicily is incredible, incredible. Have you ever seen the temples in Greece? The Greek temples. They do have those temples in Sicily. You don't need to go to Greece, you can see them there. Built by the Greeks when there was the invasion there. And I can tell you something about Sicily. The food is incredible. So I spent a few days there, and I ate so much. Also because I have friends there, and they are very hospitable. In southern Italy, they are very, very hospitable. And if they cook, and they give you food, and in Italy normally it is similar to the Asian culture. Somebody is offering something and you say no, at first, just to be polite, okay? You say no, and then the host insists, and the third time you accept. So I think you're familiar with that concept, right? Don't do that in Germany. Because I was in Germany, somebody offered me something to drink, we were having dinner. And I was like, with my Italian culture, oh, no thank you. That was it. No other offer. So every time you go to a country, you need to learn if it is polite to accept after the first offer or not. Very important. Because if you accept everything, it could be offensive. But in another country, if you don't accept, then you don't get anything. Okay, so it's a very important piece of information you need to acquire before going to a country. But going back to Sicily, they are very hospitable. So they offer you something and you say no, and then yes, take it, yeah. The third time, they put it in the dish, directly on your dish. And then you eat, and when you're about to finish, they want to give you more, and you say, no, thank you. Ah, so you didn't like it? No, of course I loved it. Yeah, then more. So you end up eating a lot. But it is an extraordinary